All right, so everyone, how are you? I'm fine, I'm very good. I'm glad that we all are back here to continue with the lesson. Okay, so your literature for your Form 5 poem, you have two poems. Basically, you have What Has Happened to Lulu, okay, by Charles, and another poem is Poison Tree, which is slightly tougher than What Has Happened to Lulu. We have done a revision last week. We did a revision on living photograph. So we will be doing maybe the following week. I'll be giving you another Form 4 poem and continuing with our final poem, right? So either one will comes out in your SPM. Okay, now let's look at the poem. I have book with me. If let's say you have your textbook or you have your revision book, you can quickly get it as well. Or if you think that this is sufficient, it's clear enough for you, then it should be good. We can start with our poem. So the poem has six stanza. All right, one, two, three, four, five, six. Rangkap. We call it rangkap in BM, and in English we call it stanza. And each stanza carries different question. Okay, if you see, uh, if you have learned this, it is all about a little brother or little sister. The persona is unknown. Okay, they never reveal the gender of the persona in the poem, but you can use his or her. It's up to you. So I would prefer to say it's him. Okay. So the little brother kept questioning what happened to the sister. What happened to the sister? All right. So you can uh, you can look at the first stanza. What has happened to Lulu, mother? What has happened to Lu? So from here, you understand that Lu maybe it's a nickname used in the family for by calling his sister. And then there's nothing in her bed but an old rag doll, and by its sides a shoe. So there was just a doll left on the bed and also a shoe, one side of shoe. Okay. Why is her window white, mother? The curtain flapping free. So her curtain is basically it's open, right? It's open. It was flapping. Flapping means it's free. Okay, and only a circle on the dusty shelf where her money box used to be. So the money box used to be means that it's no more there, right? It's gone. Maybe she took it with herself when she was uh, going somewhere. Why do you turn your head, mother? And why do teardrops fall? And the little brother saw the mother was maybe crying, feeling sad that the sister left home, and she turned the head quickly. She doesn't want the brother to know what is happening at home. And why do you crumple that note on the fire and say it is nothing at all? So there was a note, okay, the note for left by Lulu to the mother, and after she read it, she quickly crumpled and threw on the fire and says that, oh, it's nothing. Okay. I woke to voices late last night and heard an engine roar. Why do you tell me things I heard were a dream and nothing more? So the little brother actually informed the mother that, he heard something. He heard engine roars. Engine most probably is a car, right? So somebody came to fetch her, and the mother denied that. She said that no, it was something, or maybe you were just dreaming, or you misheard something. And then the fifth stanza says, I heard somebody cry, mother, in anger or in pain. But now I ask you why, mother, you say it was gust of rain. She heard someone cry. It could be the mother, right, crying due to stress. The little girl left home, and she pretended that nothing happened. She said, no, it was just raining. That there was just sound of rain. All right. And then the last stanza says that, why do you wonder about as though you don't know what to do? The mother looked so confused, right? She looked like she cannot do anything, right? Because her kid, one of her child ran away, and she don't know what to do. So she's wondering what to do. So the boy saw the mother in that kind of condition, and then he questioned her that what has happened to Lulu? What has happened to Lulu? right? So you can see the question is keep repeating. What has happened to Lulu? What has happened to Lulu? If we look into the meaning of line in stanza one, you can understand that uh, he or she is keep questioning, right? The stanza one is about questioning his mother about the mysterious or sudden disappearance of Lulu. Okay, this is what I prepared. It's very simple. If let's say if you look into your reference book and you couldn't understand because the line by line meaning is quite complicated, uh, this is a very summarized version of the meaning, right? So the person, the little boy is keep questioning the mother, what happened to the sister? Why she's not at home? And then her old rag doll, it is just a sample, right? Okay, and the shoe was left behind. And if you realize, it's just one side of her shoe, meaning somebody is rushing. She was in rush that she forgot to pick her shoe. Okay, the mother has refused to tell him what has happened. And it could be that he's still small and she doesn't want him to feel worried about uh, his sister. If you can see, I think the persona is a very loving uh, sibling because she awares about everything. He knows where she went, how about her things, where she keeps her things, everything. And he keeps questioning the mother. So from here, the mother is quite worried that it might affect the son. So she didn't tell him anything. All right. In stanza two, remember when they say the persona saw the windows are wide open and the curtains are flapping free in the wind. It shows that she probably ran away using the window. She jumped out the window and she didn't close back, right? So the when the air enter, it's flapping free. So you can see if let's say you don't understand the word flapping, so I have put up a picture for you. And also, the persona also noticed the money box on the dusty shelf is gone. So if let's say for a very long time you didn't clean up your shelf, it gets dusty, right? And then when you remove a certain part of object from the shelf, you can see there's a uh, uh, like a dust over there, okay, and a clean part of it. So the little boy actually realized that it was only dusty left there. You can see the money box is missing. So you can also conclude that uh, Lulu has ran away with her money box. In stanza 3, the persona asks the mother why she is hiding her tears. The mother crumples a note, most probably from Lulu, and throws it into the fire. In stanza 3, you understand that Lulu might have a family issue, a family conflict with the mother. So she runs away as a solution. Obviously, it's not a solution to run away, but that was her solution to run away from home. And then she writes a note to the mother. Okay, and the mother was afraid that the little boy would know what happened between Lulu and the family, so she throws into the fire. So when they ask what does this line infer, or what does this uh, means, so you have to explain. Okay, and mother then tells her child that it is nothing at all. She deny again. She say no, it's nothing. The persona does not believe her, right? Okay, in stanza 4, another incident happened when the persona tells that he was awakened. He woke up to the voices late last night and heard the sound of an engine roar, meaning maybe probably a car starting, or they came to fetch her. Okay. And the mother lies that the child was only dreaming. She denied again. She doesn't want to tell him what actually happened and with whom she went. So she probably ran away with her boyfriend or with any of her friends, right? Okay, the last two stanza. Stanza 5, the persona insists that he had heard someone cry in anger or in pain, but it is told it was just a gust of rain. So again, the mother denied and said, no, nobody was crying. It was just a sound of rain, right? I think at one point, the boy knows that something is going on at the back of him. So he kept questioning the mother and he wants to know what actually happened to his sister. But according to the mother's maybe what she's thinking, she doesn't want to tell him what actually happened because he's still small, right? And the last stanza, uh, puzzled about the persona is actually puzzled. He actually very confused with the mother's distraught behavior. Distraught meaning like she was distracted. She doesn't know what's going on, what to do. The narrator wants to know why the mother is pacing about, uncertain what to do. So the word wondering here, right? And the use of Lu is an affectionate shortened form of Lulu. But till the end, he's clueless on what has happened to Lu. So do you think he got an idea on what happened to Lulu? So do you think he able to, if let's say they ask you a question, can the persona understand what is going on? So what can be your answer? Do you think he's aware about what's going on at home? What happened to Lulu and why is the mother is not saying anything? But she looks very distracted with something happened at home. She cries and all that. So maybe you can tell that he does not believe on what she said. If let's say they ask you that kind of questions, then maybe you can tell that he might not understand for his age because he's still young, but he knows that something is amiss, something is going on, right? Something is not right. Okay, okay. This is elements of literature, meaning the subject matter. Okay, so for every poem you will have a subject matter, meaning what is it about. So in a very short explain in a very short point, it says that it is a poem told in a child voice about his older sister running away. uh, so the poem is in the tone of a child asking, keep asking. Little kids, they love to ask questions. I think in about another 2 minutes time they'll come back and ask you a question. Another 2 minutes time, even after you explain. So this is a very small child keep asking the same, repeating the same question. A child is asking her mother what has happened to his sister Lulu. There's nothing in her room, and her money box has gone, and the window was open. So you can see there's so many things related to this one event, right? His mother is crying and burning a note. He thinks he heard voices in a car in the middle of night, but his mother tells him he was only dreaming. Okay, so this will be the subject matter. So for the form and structure, the poem is about ballet, written in 4 line stanza where the second and fourth lines rhyme. For SPM, there will no question about form and structure usually. You don't have to really remember about the personification or the alliteration or whether it's a monologue, really into the elements of the poem. But it is just a part of our elements, right? So if you can see here, they say that there's a 4 line where the second and fourth lines are rhyme. It keeps repeating the same sound. This regular and simple form seems appropriate for the voice of the narrator, which is of a young child. Because usually adults, we don't keep repeating the same question in each and every dialogue or stanza. Okay, it is a first person dramatic monologue, okay, very emotional, that is addressed to the mother of the narrator. It is almost entirely written in questions, both reflecting the age of the speaker and his puzzlement at what has happened to his sister. So this is about his puzzlement, means he's confused about what's happening around, and the form suggests the child's innocence while allowing the reader to read between the lines and understand what has happened. First of all, to understand a poem, it is not easy, right? You have to really open your mind, open your eyes, and you have to scan through line by line, because poem is usually written in very flowery words. It's figurative, we call it, right? Bahasa kiasan. So you really have to understand um, in order you can answer the question. Okay, so the image of the abandoned bed is the main one described by the child narrator, meaning what you can see in the poem. So when they use the object, that is actually evokes your imagery. The inclusion of childhood objects such as old rag doll, money box, and then the youth and innocence of runaway Lulu, they are contrasted with the roar of car engine heard in the night. Meaning it's very contrast. The very innocent sister can also turn out to be a very brave person, and she ran away, right? So the narrator does not understand, emphasized by the constant question. The curtain can be seen as a metaphor for Lulu's new freedom. Okay, this is very important where we had a question previously saying that what does the curtain symbolize and what does it carry meaning? Students always say she ran away through the window. Yes, true. But when they say what does it symbolize, okay, it symbolizes Lulu's new freedom. Okay, when it's flapping free, it shows how free is Lulu's life now, according to her. Okay, so what we are not, we can't predict, or we are not sure what happened to her exactly after she runs away. But according to her, she feels happy. She feels free. She gets her freedom only when she's not at home, when she's out of her house, right? So that's the contrast. Okay, and then contrasted by the dust on the shelf that represent her previous life, meaning that it was so dusty, and then she managed to get herself from that dust. All right, that is according to Lulu's perspective. Okay, if in case they ask you about the setting consists of many things, right? But in poem, usually it's very short and simple. So if let's say they did ask about setting, it's probably in England, as the word money box is a typical British word. Okay, usually here we might use the word coin box, piggy bank, and all that. This is obviously Lulu's room and the fireplace where the mother crumples the note and throw it away. And Lulu's room when the little boy, or the little sister is explaining about the object and where it was, where she ran away, right? Time is in the past because it's not written. Unless it is novel, when they ask about the time, you have to mention in which year, which date, and all that. This is very important part of as a part of your poem. Okay, many questions they usually ask you to give one theme or give two themes according to what you have learned and all that. So when they ask you themes, always make sure, bear in mind that I always tell my students that do not memorize. Do not memorize from your reference books or what has given by the teacher. You understand the whole poem and you come up with your own theme, your own moral values. All right. Where theme is something very short. For example, the word highlighted, bolded here, that is actually the theme. This is just the explanation. If let's say they ask you to explain, if in case they didn't ask you to give reason or justify your answer, then you don't have to explain. You just give a theme. Despite of you memorizing these, and everyone might have a different idea. I might be giving you a different theme, and your school teacher might give you a different idea. So do not confuse yourself. You have to be very pro in understanding your poem, and then you can come up with your own theme. All right. This is the short version. Then when you explain, theme is tema. All right. Your friend asked that, can you Tema theme is shorter than moral value. Okay, moral value when we use models, for example, should, must, we must, we should, uh, uh, we anything that it's longer, it's in an explanation with a full description, then that will be a moral value. So now this is the theme. Okay, if you look, the theme in this poem is the end of childhood and the loss of innocence. This is given by I've taken from a book as well. The explanation for this, they said she probably a young teenager. She ran away based on the note that her mother crumpled. She took her savings, her money box to start a new life with a man who drove off in engine raw. I mean, the person who came to fetch her, right? She left her childhood behind. You can understand that she didn't like to be at home, maybe because the parents was very strict to her, didn't let her to mingle around with other people or have a very restrict family rules and all that. So she decided to end her childhood And the loss of innocence, meaning that she's no more innocent. Obviously you are not innocent when you're able to think that you want to run away from home. Okay, and also she's very smart that she took her saving money and she left other things. Okay, why she left her childhood, meaning she doesn't need her doll anymore. If let's say she's still a child, she wants to be pampered, she would have taken all that with her. Next, it's about parent and child relationship. The mother and Lulu relationship could have been a tense and a strained one, meaning that they might have an argument or problem maybe previously before this thing happened. Lulu is a rebellious teenager. If you can use the adjective for to describe Lulu, I think rebellious maksudnya tak suka dengan cakap. You like to against people. Every teenager loves against people. I think that's part. It's normal. It's just a phase of your life until you attain a age and you realize, oh, okay, why our parents have they have put so much of rules and regulation in our life. Okay, so basically she dislikes her mother's restriction on her freedom and emerge interest in the opposite sex. This is what we just predict. Okay, this is based on our prediction because imagine who wants to fetch someone. I mean, can your same gender person would like to fetch you at in the midnight? Okay, so it could definitely be a boy opposite sex. All right, she keeps secret from her mother. The mother and narrator relationship is less dramatic. The narrator is obedient and respectful to the mother. The narrator loves the mother very much and observes her pain and distress. Because you can see in most of the stanza, he keeps questioning the mother. But once the mother has given an answer, he didn't ask the same question again. He is obedient, he listened, and also he observed that when the mother cries and then when she crumpled the note, she turns her head against him. He kept questioning what happened, and even when she's lost, she looked like she's wondering. He, as a young boy, still he could um, observe her pain. All right, next is about grief and love. Grief is about something that you berduka cita, you lost something, then you feel very sad, right? So grief is when you are sad over something. The mother is grieving over the loss of a child, Lulu. The mother clearly loves Lulu. The narrator loves the sister as she called her by pet name Lou. They previously, I think they were a very loving family. They were all together until this family conflict arise. The narrator is worried about the sudden disappearance of the elder sister. So these are the themes for the poem. And in case if let's say they ask you about the moral value, you can just come up with your own moral value. Maybe you can say we should not give siblings and our parents, a loss. I mean, grief, a reason to grieve, and then we should appreciate our parents' love and care. So many things. You can talk about the love, you can talk about the relationship. We must respect our parents, we must also love our siblings so that they don't grieve after our loss. Imagine how much of stress that the little child is having after he or she lose her sister. What does the persona see on Lulu's face? Yes, there were two objects that the person see was the old rag doll and also the shoe. What a pair a shoe? Sorry, not a pair of shoe. It was just a shoe, right? How? What do the words "a circle on the dusty shelf" indicate? The circle on the dusty shelf indicates that it doesn't indicate that the money box. It indicates that she took the money box. She took the money box with her. So that's what it indicates, a circle on the dusty shelf. When you take something from a very dusty place, so you can't. How does the persona's mother react when they find out that Lulu is missing? Describe her behavior. She was sad, she was stressed, she was distressed, right? She was stressed, she cried in anger. Yeah, she was worried, obviously. So you can describe her behavior, saying that you can even relate the stanza, okay, from which line. Okay, you can see that her tears drop, all right? In stanza 3, why do you turn your head, mother? Why do the teardrops fall? So you can say that she cried, right? Okay, anything that's suitable to what happened in the poem, you can describe her behavior. Okay, this is a hot question. Okay, this is a hot question where you have to give your own answer by giving suggestion. Okay, let's read the question. Your younger siblings mentioned that he heard a noise in the middle of the night, something unpleasant like a quarrel in a house two doors away. Meaning that it's something very related to the poem earlier. Okay, your sibling is coming and complaining to you. He heard something. Somebody was fighting. Quarrel means like an argument or a fight, right? In your neighborhood. What do you think of telling your younger siblings and why? Okay, these will be the hot questions that might be asked. It's a very popular question. This is from actually from a trial paper. If let's say you are the elder sibling, uh, what would you tell your younger sibling and why? Nothing, just the noise of mice. No, he heard that something very unpleasant and people fight. So what can you actually advise or what will be your suggestion as the elder uh, person? Would you just deny like what the mother did, or would you come up with any advice to your younger sibling, or what action can you take to help the neighbor? Okay, you have a lot of possibilities in this question. As I mentioned earlier, you can also advise, okay, okay, your friend is telling that he might call the police or told them it's nothing to prevent them being afraid as they are still young, and that's very good. Okay, it could, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually tell them maybe it is nothing, or I will go and have a look, I will check on it. Um, because we doesn't want to make them feel worried. This is what exactly the mother did in the poem. Or you can also tell that okay, that you might get help uh, for your neighbor, and then you will tell them, explain to them nicely, saying that what happened. All right. So this is a hot question. Any kind of answer given by you is acceptable, except if it's totally out of context. Like what your friend said just now. Like said it's just the sound of mice. All right. Okay. So now next, what is the poem about, and who are the personas? What is the poem about? Meaning, earlier we did about the subject matter. So now you will have to give indication about that. Yes, Haziq. The conflict between mother and her son Lulu. The persona is Lulu younger sister or younger brother, exactly. So when they ask you about the poem, you have to explain very briefly, saying that the conflict between a mother and her daughter, it's actually a daughter. Lulu is a girl. You can tell that she ran away due to a family problem or family conflict, and the persona is her younger sister or her younger brother. You can choose either, right? Okay. This is my favorite question. What does the open window signify literally and figuratively? Meaning, what does it mean? Uh, uh, what can you exact meaning and also the indirect meaning of it? Flapping free. So what does Yes, very good. So earlier I explained to you the meaning the line which mentioned, hold on. The lines say, why is her window white, mother, the curtain flapping free? The line saying the curtain flapping free literally shows that she ran away through her window and she left her window open. The figuratively meaning shows that it's a new freedom. Okay, it's new life starting soon for Lulu and her freedom. Right. So you all got the answer. You understand how when they ask the question, what does the open window signify? Literally meaning the exact meaning. She ran away throughout the window. And when they ask figuratively, meaning it's the indirect meaning. She got her new life. She got her new freedom, new way of life, and all that. Okay, so the next question. From stanza 2, who do you think wrote the note and to whom it was addressed? Who do you think wrote the note and to whom it was addressed? Meaning from whom to whom? This is quite easy class. Wait, the answer for uh, the question 7 is Lulu wrote the note to her mother because After she read, she quickly crumpled and she threw away. If let's say it was addressed to somebody else, she might have kept it or she might hide it. Right? Okay, our friend asked to repeat the question 5. So let us very quickly. The what is the poem about and who are the personas is when earlier I explained to you about the subject matter. What is the poem about? Okay, it's about the conflict. A mother and daughter conflict, right? A family issue or personal conflict. And who are the persona? Persona is the person, the narrator, the person who is keep um, asking question or in the tone of we reading it. That is the persona, right? So the persona is the younger sibling. Yes, the persona is Lulu's brother or sister. You can just mention as Lulu's younger sibling. All right. So number 8. What has happened to Lu and how would you describe the tone of voice of the persona? Give two evidence. They are asking you to give you to tell what has happened to Lu and also describe the tone of the voice of the persona, meaning how does the persona sounds like, and give two evidence, meaning from the poem. So what has happened to Lu is yes, he is confused that the sister runs away from home, or the sudden appearance of the sister is missing, right? Sudden disappearance at home. Um, and how would you describe the tone? Exactly, very good. So he or she is definitely worried from the tone where you can see that what has happened to Lu, what has happened to Lu. He keep repeating the same question. Yes, another one more thing is the word curious. I was expecting the students to, give me that kind of adjective. He was definitely curious. Little kids are always curious what happened. So when they ask you to give two evidence, you have to relate this from the line. Okay, so I just repeat again. When he asked the question from stanza 2, he said where her money box used to be. It's a question mark. It shows that how curious he is. All right, the tone of voice is curious, and the evidence is where her money box used to be from the stanza 2, line 8. And then when he said that he's worried, you can also tell that he's worried because of his mother. The tone of voice is worried of his mother. And then the evidence, you can say that you don't know what to do, what has happened to Lulu mother. That also can be the evidence. All right. All right. Thanks, everyone. Okay. If we look at question 9, based on the poem, Lulu has ran away due to family conflict. What would you say to your friend who talks about running away from home? This is another popular hot question. Okay, when you have your poem questions, you will be given a 4 questions, not mistaken, a total 5 marks. Three will be three will be just the normal questions, like it's about they question you what you have understand from the poem. Another question you will have hot question. All right. So this is the type of the hot question. They ask, what would you, if let's say your friend is also talking about running away, so what would you give advice? You have to give two advice. What will be your advice? Okay. Jerry said that I would advise my friend to take care about her or parents' feeling. Talk to her parents to solve the problem. Okay. You cannot put another question mark in the question asked. So you can use the moral values. Okay, when they ask about the advice, this is where the moral values apply. So you can relate with your moral values here. So you can tell that I would advise my friend uh, by saying that running away doesn't solve the issue. All right. Your friends are giving a lot of good idea. Talk to a counselor or talk to a good friend. Try to solve. You have to speak out. Communication is the key, right? So when you communicate, you're able to solve a lot of problems. So you can give advice that saying that I advise my friend to talk to people, to speak her heart out, or you can tell that you should always think about parents feeling what will happen to them after you run away from home. It's a great loss and grief to the family. And apart from that, it also quite embarrassing, right? When you run away and then your relatives are questioning your parents, where did your daughter went, why she is suddenly missing, and all that. So you can relate all that. So you just come up with two and one. So next, I have prepared for you a lesson from paper two. I'm going to explain to you about paper two. In this section, we're going to touch on graphic organizer, reading comprehension, and your summary. Before we move on into the real lesson, I would like to ask how many of you aware about scanning and skimming? Do you know what is scanning and skimming? Scanning and skimming usually it's not very well exposed to the student, but I think student or the teacher should teach the student. I mean, on how to read your reading comprehension effectively. It's not about fast or slow or you keep repeating 10 times, but if you still couldn't find the right answer, then I think it's a waste of time because you really need to speed up, right? So scanning and skimming is actually your reading tactics. Okay, now let us look at this. Okay, we will just go through. Skimming and scanning are reading techniques that use rapid eye movement, meaning you really need to uh, scan very, I mean, you have to skim very quickly, and keywords to move quickly through text for slightly different purposes. Um, to get a general overview of the material, I have highlighted here. Skimming, you read rapidly. Rapid maksudnya laju. Okay, in order to get a general overview, so that you know what is the purpose of the text. Okay, in a very mild. It's not that okay. Chia asked if you don't understand, read one more time. Right, that is what usually student does. You read and then you keep reading again, and then you read again, and then you read again. It's not that. So when you know what is scanning and what is skimming and how you use it, you don't have to actually repeat too many times, right? Because the texts are quite long, and sometimes we have a lot of very confusing high vocabulary, so you miss out a lot of points there. Okay, so skimming basically we just uh, read very fast. We get the overall idea about what is the text about. Whereas scanning is reading rapidly in order to find specific facts. All right, like your friend mentioned here, we can read the question first before reading. That is scanning. Okay, so when you already read the question, then you scan only for what you need. So you just find the specific fact. Okay, I'll explain that again later. Okay, now let's look at skimming. Skimming is previewing, reading before you read. Reading before you read means reading before you read the question. Reviewing, reading after you read. After then you read the question, then you reread again your reading text. Class, do you understand? Okay, determining the main idea from a long selection you don't wish to read. Then you understand, okay, this is not important, this is important, where you have to stop, right? And then this is like they gave example for a research paper. Like for now, we are using for our reading comprehension. Use scanning in research to find particular facts, to use study fact heavy topics and to answer questions. So our purpose here is just to answer the question. All right. Okay. So for today, we're going to focus more on scanning. All right. If you are scanning for facts to answer a specific question, one step is already done for you. The question itself supplies the keyword. Okay. What are the keywords in the question? So when you look at the question, when there's a WH question or they mention when does this thing happen, you have to look for date. You have to go for a time. You have to go for a year. That will be the keyword. All right. Follow these steps. Read questions completely before starting to scan. So as your friend said, you read the question. That is scanning. Choose your keywords. Look for answer to only one question at a time. You cannot memorize all the six questions and then you come back to your text at one time. No. So when you read the question, then you scan for the answer. Then you write down. Then you read your questions again. Then you scan for your idea again. All right. So you don't have to waste too much time, but you're able to get your answer easily. Okay, when you locate a keyword, read the surrounding text carefully to see if it's relevant. Meaning, when you see the keyword or the date, okay, done. Then you write down the answer. No, you have to finish the whole sentence until there's a full stop. All right. Reread the questions to determine if the answer you found answers this question. As I told again, you have to read everything fully so that you don't answer it wrongly. For example, they might also provide you two different dates. Okay, so which one are they actually looking for? So you have to read the questions and the sentence, the text fully, all right, so that you're able to identify the correct answer. Okay, and the last one, scanning is a technique that requires concentration and can be surprisingly tiring because you'll be really putting your effort on reading the text. So it could be tiring, but I think this is suitable during SPM because it will be very quiet and you'll be in the exam hall, so nobody is actually distracting you. You are just focusing on reading your text, and it's easy for you so that you don't runs out of time. Okay, but this is just a tips from me, right, about your skimming and scanning. Um, what we will do today, we will read everything one by one, line by line, because we don't have the material in our hand. It is just online. So I don't want you to miss out anything. So I'll go through with you slowly. And also I'll try my best to explain the words. If let's say you don't understand, it's a high vocabulary words or something, you please do let me know in the chat box. So before we move on to our reading comprehension, we will start with our graphic organizer. All right, so I have Zoom for you, so you can see now. All right, now let's look at the reading, the graphic organizer. Read the following poster and answer the question that follows. Okay, experience the beauty of Terengganu and save Mother Earth. Join the Sea Turtle Patrol program, only RM210 for a 7-day program on Redang Island. So the activities are watch over the turtles as they lay eggs, patrol the beaches to look out for turtles, record information about the turtles and mark the nest, hiking and snorkeling. So you have four main activity here. And for the accommodation, they prepared a wooden hut and mats on days for turtle watching. Accommodation is basically like where do you stay, or it could be a temporary place or it could be for a permanent stay for 3 days, 2 nights, and all that. Fee includes food, accommodation, and transportation. So you have to go to the website to learn more about the program, view pictures of the turtles, learn about volunteers at work, and register your details. Allow a week for a response from the program coordinator. Closing date for registration is 22nd January. And the program runs throughout the year. Let's look at the question. Okay, now it's your turn to give me the answer, right? So I'll just check it for you whether you are on the right track or not. So, okay, so, what is the name of the program? Yes, Sea Turtle Patrol Program. Okay, so when you answer your Sea Turtle Patrol Program, then you got 1 mark there. Okay, how about the location? Okay, it is not Terengganu, it is Redang Island. You have to mention specifically, not in a general idea. Okay, so they have mentioned that it's in Redang Island. Okay, very good. Next is the fee. What will be the fee? Yes, RM 210. You don't write your answer for a 7-day program. Understand? Because they just ask you the fee. Okay. Now they question you number of days. Okay. What will be your answer? Yes, 7 days. All right. Another one more common problem that a student facing is when you write the number 7, right? For number 1 to number 10, usually you have to spell out. You cannot use numerical, the symbol, yes. You have to spell it out 7 days. How about the closing date for registration? Yes, 22nd January. So you just follow exactly. And the J must be capital J. All right. If not, you might get a wrong for that. Okay. After the 5 questions is in a table form, a very short answer. Now you have to fill the blanks with the suitable words from the poster. Okay. As an environment crusader, I think the Sea Turtle program is a good opportunity for you to volunteer to protect these marine creatures. It lasts for 7 days and you have to go to Bidang Island. You only have to pay 210 for no. Okay, the question here, they didn't ask you you are paying the money for how many days. It's already mentioned there. It lasts for 7 days, right? So you cannot repeat again the 7 day program. What is the breakout of the money used for? The 210 is actually used as a fee, uh, include for food, accommodation, and transportation. So your answer here will be you only have to pay RM 210 for your food, accommodation, and transportation. Right? Do you understand why you have to give that free answer? Because yeah, it's written there 7 days. All right, next. While there, you will help the researchers by watching over the turtles as they lay their eggs and alright, class, it's like this. They say you will be helping the researchers. I'll repeat again. I have my book here. You will be helping the researchers by watching over the turtles as they lay their eggs. Okay, this is one. And you will patrol the beaches to look out for turtles. You cannot be doing research and hiking and snorkeling. Can you understand how does it relate to each other? Yes, because they say it wild. All right. It's not that any other activities aside from watching over the turtles. They also ask N. All right. So what are the next activities here? And record information about the turtles and mark the nest. No, you only have to write the record the information because they already mentioned in another question. When the sea turtles are digging their nest, you will mark their nest. Can you understand? So when they ask question, they actually it's interrelating from one to one, right? So you don't have to jump much. You don't have to make yourself too much confused, right? So it is just going up one after one. You can see the sequence down there. And the final question. These activities happen during the night. So you may have to spend the night. Am I correct? Or we are left with 24. We done with 24. Okay, these activities happen during the night. So you may have to spend the nights. Where do you usually spend the nights? Can you find the points there? At seaside, but how? If let's say it's night, they have provided you the accommodation. Can you look at the point after the activities? The mat. So the possible answer that you can give here, these activities happen during the night, so you may have to spend the night on the mat. Exactly. Okay. So sleeping on the mat by watching the turtle. Now let us look into our reading comprehension, the exciting part, all right, or the super tiring part, right? Okay. So I have actually separated the line so it looks bigger. Okay. First of all, when you read your reading comprehension, when you read your question or your reading comprehension, you have the indication here. This is for paragraph. Okay, this shows paragraph. Number one, paragraph two, paragraph three. You can see there's a space, right, in between. All right. And this shows that how many line. Okay, how many line, right? So one, two, three, four, and fifth. So this will be the fifth line. And then it's following the sequence. Okay, this is very, very important so that you don't have to mark again. You don't have to count again while finding for your answer. When they ask you question, they will actually give you from which line, from this paragraph. So it's easier, right? So it's already there. Always pay attention why there's a note there. So you understand the why they have given you the numbers there. All right, now let's look at your reading comprehension first. So let's look at the first paragraph. When Scott McCulley was 24 years old, his parents got a divorce. It was 1985, and Macaulay remembered all the lessons his parents had taught him. Be supportive and loving to each parent and siblings. Okay, this is what the parents has taught him, although they are separated. However, during that period, nobody was talking to each other, he says. So they wasn't talking to anybody because of this um, incident happened. He was torn between his parents because if he was nice to one parent, the other would be mad. Okay, meaning here he he was split from both, and he wasn't visiting anybody, because if let's say he go and visit or he stay with the father, the mother might feel dejected, feel sad, right? When October came, he thought about what he would do for Thanksgiving. You know, these white people, they are full of celebration. Okay, Thanksgiving is another celebration to appreciate people. Macaulay was in dilemma because he did not want to become home alone or anywhere alone. Dilemma like going through some emotional stress. He doesn't know where to go, or even if he wants to celebrate it alone, there's no purpose of the celebration. Thanksgiving is all about enjoying a meal at the table and giving thanks for the blessings you have. Right? So this is the celebration about the meaning of the celebration. And Macaulay knew he could not do that alone with much fun. Then Macaulay got an idea to place an advertisement in the local newspaper. In his advertisement, Macaulay reached out to people who would be spending Thanksgiving alone. So he came up with an idea and he promoted on newspaper saying that, oh, I would like to celebrate with everyone, right? Those who are having the same situation like him. If they did not want to be alone during the holidays, then he urged them to call him. Urge meaning like, he pleaded them to call him. He offered to make dinner for them. The first year he held the dinner, only a few people came, but they had a good time. On his first attempt, Macaulay was nervous about the food he prepared, but 15 says it turned out all right and he also did not burn anything. So from here you able to get few facts here, all right? So he did for the first year, he held the dinner, only few people came in, almost like, barely 15. Macaulay has held a Thanksgiving dinner every year since then. His guests have included so people who were new in the town or those who were recently divorced or widowed. They have also been people who were the new country and did not speak English. So he has actually invite many people, right? The group grows. He also find people who have the same faith as him, right? Other guests included the poor or the elderly. So he target the poor people and also the elder people. The number has since grown, and in 2009, 84 people came to his dinner. However, this number does not include the other people who he shares his Thanksgiving with. He also feeds on-duty police officers who are driving around the town in their cars. So he randomly picks people who is on duty, right? Once, a woman suffering from Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is something to do with nerve tremor, saraf, right? Came to his dinner. She had been living in a nursing home for 7 years and had never been out. She has never gone out since the day she entered the nursing home, and she thoroughly enjoyed. So when she heard about Macaulay's um, Thanksgiving dinner, she hired an ambulance to bring her. The woman had a wonderful time, but when the ambulance returned to take her back to her nursing home, she cried. So, meaning that she thoroughly enjoyed, she was very happy with what happened after so long. She didn't want to go back. According to the Mercury, most of his guests don't know who he is, not even his name. They only know that there is a skinny man in the kitchen, but Macaulay doesn't mind. As for the theme of his life, he says he draws inspiration from an old hymn. Old hymn meaning it's an old song or old, something like a very religious thing, quotes, all right, called "Brighten the Corner Where You Are." He hopes that the legacy he leaves behind is one where he came into the world to brighten the corner and then left quietly unnoticed. Him is as I said, it has many types, all right. What I understand here is like a quotes, all right. He believes in these motivational quotes, very spiritual. It can be spiritual, it can be very religious thing. It can also be taken by the Bible, if not mistaken. So he believes you can see that he draws inspiration from an old hymn called "Brighten the Corner Where You Are." So it's like a quote for him. Okay, he brights people, he makes other people happy. Okay, now let's look at the question. From paragraph 2, give two words that tell us that the divorce was not easy on Macaulay. Okay, let's look at paragraph 2. He was torn, he was pulled apart, alright? Okay, and another one was the question was give two words that tell us that the divorce was not easy on Macaulay. Yes, dilemma, exactly. The word dilemma here, right? Okay, now let's look at the next question. From paragraph 2, use your own words to explain why Macaulay did not spend Thanksgiving with his friend. With his parents. What was the reason he didn't spend his time with the parents, the Thanksgiving with the parents? Why? From paragraph 2. And they also ask you to use your own words to explain. Exactly. Very good. So Zeming said he don't want to make his another parent mad. So you could also explain saying that if Macaulay parents were divorced and he would not, if he chose to spend with one parent, the other would be mad. You can also say that feel dejected or rejected, right? It's not that he wants to be home only by himself, but he cannot be nice to one person and not being nice to another one. So he had to be at home alone. He had no choice. Yes, he doesn't want to make his parents angry. He hates his family. No, he doesn't hate them even though they split. He just wants to be nice and he wants to take care of their feelings. He feels that when he be nice to one and others will feel it is bias, we call it. Tidak adil, it is not justice to another parent. So yeah, you can use that word. He doesn't want to be called as bias. Okay, so that is the answer for 27. Okay, from paragraph 3, what was Macaulay certain about with regards to celebrating Thanksgiving? So from paragraph 3, the question was from paragraph 3, what was Macaulay certain about with regards to celebrate Thanksgiving? What does he feel about uh, Thanksgiving? Yes, the keyword is about feels alone. So Thanksgiving is about you count your blessing with other family members or your friends and all that. So if let's say he celebrate alone, he doesn't even feel, I mean, the purpose of celebrating Thanksgiving. So you can say that he was sure he could not have fun at Thanksgiving if he celebrates it alone or he feels lonely. All right. Okay, question 28. From paragraph 4, how did Macaulay plan to celebrate Thanksgiving? Okay, so after what he feels and then what he came up to avoid celebrating them alone. Advertising on the newspaper, yes, but it is not accurate saying that was actually the action. They asked what did he plan, meaning what did he decided. He decided to celebrate with who? Yes, he decided to celebrate with by inviting others and by cooking them a dinner. Right? So that was the actual plan. He planned to cook dinner for the unfortunate people like him. So when they ask you the question, what was the plan? The plan was what he thought in his mind. The action is by putting advertisement and urge them to call and all that. All right. So you got the answer from paragraph 4. Which words tell us that Macaulay was worried about the food he was preparing for Thanksgiving dinner? The word worried, another word. So when you find for your answer, Macaulay was nervous about the food he prepared, but 15 says it turns out all right and he did not burn anything. So you have to finish the whole thing, right? And then did you able to find the word? Yes, nervous. So the word nervous shows that he was worried about the food he prepared. Okay, number 29. From paragraph 6, beside preparing and holding a Thanksgiving dinner, what else does Macaulay do? Besides preparing and holding a Thanksgiving dinner, what else does Macaulay do? Okay, from paragraph 6. So now you only have to focus on paragraph 6. So what he does, guys, apart from calling people and giving dinner at home, what else he does? The number has grown. However, this number does not include the other people in Thanksgiving. Wait, he also feeds on duty police officer who are driving around the town in the car. So your answer must be in full form. You should say he feeds police officer who are patrolling the town because they are on duty. They cannot come and visit him to have a dinner. Sit and talk. So when they are on duty, so he is going out to feed them. All right. So your answer should be in full form. Okay. 29B. From paragraph 7, we know that the woman enjoyed herself at Macaulay Thanksgiving dinner because. Paragraph 7. Okay. There's a story about this woman, right? So you just have to scan to the idea where why she enjoyed. What was the evidence showing that she enjoyed? The question saying that we know that the woman enjoyed herself at Macaulay Thanksgiving dinner because, not that because he had never been out. Okay, if you look at the paragraph 7, the woman had a wonderful time, but when the ambulance returned to take her back to it says that the question was about, we know that the woman enjoyed herself at the Macaulay Thanksgiving dinner because, okay, how do we know that she enjoyed? Okay, when the ambulance returned to take her back to her nursing home, she cried, right? It's not that she didn't go out for so long. That would be a reason. But when they ask because, you have to say that she did not want to return to the nursing home. Or you can say that she cried when she needs to return back home. From paragraph 8, Macaulay says that he does not mind that the people who come to his Thanksgiving dinner do not know who he is. How would you describe Macaulay? So according to the paragraph 5, we should find how they describe him. So how does they describe him? The skinny man in the kitchen. All right. So that will be your answer. You can say that he's skinny. Oh, sorry. This is the physical appearance. This one, when they explain, describe Macaulay, we can say that he's humble. Okay. Why? Because they don't even know his name. He's not. Yes, you can say he's kind, he's humble. Most appropriate or accurate word that you can use is kind and also humble. Okay, why I say humble is because he doesn't even want to share that who he is. He's not doing for the purpose of saying who he is actually. All right. So you can say he's humble or he's kind. Yes. Okay. Okay. When they ask you about the physical appearance, then you can say skinny. He's thin or he's skinny. You can use both. Helpful is not very accurate because uh, he's actually not really helping people based on the need. He's just doing it for his sake. So that's all for your reading comprehension. So you have understand all the question, class. Okay, any doubt on the question? I think this is quite easy. All right. So when we go through, when you scan your keywords, when you go through slowly, I think you understand clearly how to handle this kind of question. All right. Okay, so now let's move on to your summary. Based on the passage, write a summary. Okay, before we move on to our summary, basically we're going to find our points and how you have to find your points. All right, for summary, you have 15 marks. 10 marks is for your points, meaning you need at least 10 points. Okay, you have to look for 10 points in your reading comprehension passage, and another 5 marks is divided into two, meaning it will be your language will be 5 marks and also your paraphrasing will be 5 marks. Paraphrasing meaning how you use your own word. If let's say you just copy exactly from the summary from the reading text, okay, you can do that, right? You definitely can do that, but that is more like to the beginner or the starter level. You don't know how to change accordingly, so you feel, or to be in the safe side, you doesn't want to lose any marks, you just want to copy everything, then you can just copy. But if let's say you are able to change accordingly to your own words, even though it's a simple word, you don't have to use any idiom or high vocabulary. This is not the place where you have to show your creativity. That's essay, right? But here you can just change it accordingly in a simple sentences. It's good enough. You're able to get another 5 marks. So your language is 5 marks will be again divided into two. That's why you get five again. Do you understand? So for content, you have 10 marks. The language will be divided into two and then again calculated into 5 marks. So you look at that's how you have to find for your summary. And summary, another tips that I can give you, you don't have to read the whole text. I have seen my students when they doing summary, their hands will be moving from the top until the end. No, you have the questions and they say the material, use the material from which line to which line. So you just focus on that line given in the question. That's the reason why we always force the students to read the questions again and again. All right, reading the questions and understanding, and also continuing from where the summaries, the question given there is very important. Okay, let us look at our summary here. So for today, we are running out of time. We can just go through very quickly. Based on the passage, write a summary on how Macaulay spent his first Thanksgiving after his parents' divorce, and how he has spent it every year since then. So there's the two questions for you. There's the two questions for you here, asking how was the first year conducted, and the following year after the when he planned out everything. You are uh, now we have, and if the words more than 130 marks will be tolak ke. Okay, our friend has asked the question. Supposedly you have to count, you have to set a limit in your words, because that is why it is called a summary. Maksudnya ringkasan atau rumusan. You have to summarize, the longer text become shorter. How if the shorter text is still long? It doesn't make uh, justice to the word summary, right? So you should keep your limit. I think if let's say the markers are linear enough, yang pemeriksa tu dia baik hati, about 5 to 10 words, she still close her eyes. But if let's say it's more than that, then we don't even read. So if let's say your conclusion is in the last few lines and it's already exceeded 130 words, you wouldn't be getting marks for your points. You understand? For language, you still receive mark, but for your points, maybe you will be miss out few points there. Boleh faham? So tolong kira, ada kawan kamu kata draw table. I don't know whether you have time to draw a table. I've marked a lot of papers. People draw a table, but still, as a student, you can always draft your summary in your reading comprehension. Kan ada kertas soalan kan? So you mark there how many lines. So approximately you able to identify how many words you have to write. And by the time you're writing, you count. So apart from that, you have two questions here that you have to fulfill. Credit will be given for use own words, but care must be taken not to change the original meaning. Means that you can use your own word. As I said, you get more credits. That's why they say credit will be given to use your own word. But there is also no saying that you cannot copy the text. You can copy. If let's say you are very weak, you don't feel confident, you want to copy from the text, yes, by all means you can do. You also get for your points. Just that for your language or for your paraphrasing, you might have some lower marks. But if let's say you have used your own ideas, you will definitely get more credit. Your summary must be in continuous form, writing form, meaning not in note form. This is also, it always happen, right? Tulis dalam bentuk form. This is a short essay. It's a summary where it's supposed to be in an essay writing form, right? They have mentioned use material from line 8 to line 22, meaning you only have to scan the information from line 8 to line 22. You don't have to read the whole text, right? It's not going to be helpful, and furthermore, it's going to waste a lot of time. Not be longer than 130 words, including the 10 words given below. So here already 10 words, so you have to add more 120. So the words here, the line here given, after his parents' divorce, Macaulay knew he did not want. Okay, then you continue your own idea. So let's look at the line 8 to line 22. So here, the line 8, let me, from here. Macaulay was in dilemma because he did not want to be home alone or anywhere alone. And then after his parents divorced, Macaulay no, he did not want to spend Thanksgiving dinner alone. So that's how you put into your sentence. He decided to put an advertisement. Then what did he plan? Okay, he got an idea. So he decided to put and plan an advertisement in the local newspaper and reach out to other people who would be spending Thanksgiving alone. So this will be your next 2 points. The first one he doesn't want to do it alone. So you already have 3 points here. So he said that he doesn't want to spend alone. And then what was the plan was placed an advertisement, and then he reached out to people who has the same faith. Or you want to change the idea, you want to tell that he planning to put an advertisement by reaching out people who having the same situation or faith as him can. All right. And then he offered to make dinner for them. So he offered to make a dinner for them. The first year he held the dinner, only a few people came, but he had a good time. Okay. Then you can also, that was the question. The question was how Macaulay spent his first Thanksgiving after his parents divorced and how he has spent it every year. Now we are talking about the first year, right? He offered to make a dinner for them, and then you can also tell what happened in the first year. You can describe it in your own idea, saying in a very short way, saying that on his first attempt, Macaulay was nervous about the food. That what happened, right? So Macaulay, on his first attempt, Macaulay was nervous about the food prepared, but everyone said it turned out all right, and he did not burn anything. So that could be your next idea. Okay, then you can tell, even though a few people came, everyone had a good time. And so when you see this, you can tell that they had a good time, and even though the guest was not, it wasn't crowded. Okay. Then what happened the following year? The number has since grown, and in 2009, 84 people came to his dinner. Okay, why you have to give this idea, the content, because they asked how he has spent it every year since then. Okay, so until line 22, you have like until here, right? You can give, and then you can tell that who did he call. He also called the person who are new in town, those who recently divorced or widow. They have also have been people who are new to the country and did not speak English. Other guests included the poor or the elderly. Can you include the duty police? Yes, you can, because it is still in 22. So if let's say you are out of the words already, your counting is already exceeded, you can make it very short. You can say that his guests will be the divorced widow and also the poor and the elderly from the place or from the town. And he also invites and he also feeds on duty police officer who is driving around the town in their cars. That's all. You don't have to do some conclusion for this and all that, right? And about the lady, the woman suffering from the Parkinson, do you have to add her in? No, because it's already exceeded the line from line 22. Okay, it's in the line 23, but the sentence doesn't stop there, all right? Because he said that they asked in the question they asked how he has spent it every year, and in the 21 it started include the other people who he shares, so you can always include them as well. If we join 2 points together, do we get 1 or 2 marks? You get marks accordingly. Okay, each and every examiners we have different type of way of marking. If let's say you have joined, then you might get only 1 mark. It depends on the sentence that you have filled. If let's say you have made it very clearly, you will get respective 2 marks for it. Actually, you don't have to put too much stress on that. When you draft out, before you write your summary, you underline first in your reading comprehension text, or you use highlight. Bring a very attractive color, right? Highlight important points from line 8 to 22, like how we did just now. Just now we just go through by reading, right? What can you do is you can also highlight them, and then approximately you can count. Okay, so that you're able to write everything on count. You don't go too much, because the 10 words are given here, and then you just have to give your another 120 words. You don't go overboard. Okay, for your next, right? It's a very very short practice. The very short practice for you. Okay, what are you when you look at a sample format here? What essay is this? What format is this? Yes, Haziq, very good. It's informal letter. All right. So for formal and informal letter, there's you can say it's a huge difference in the format where your formal letter will be on your left. Everything will be on your left, and for your informal letter, everything on your right. Okay, you can see here you have your address. Okay, it's your address, and then some students will be asking me questions when they are doing formal letter. You have two address. Okay, teacher, I have written my address. What should I write down? You just tembak lah. You letak apa-apa address pun, the markers or the examiners not going to go and do a background check on the address. You don't have to waste your time and crack your face for something very simple. Bear in mind that you can just come up. If let's say you are writing, okay, now I'm talking about formal letter, right? If let's say you are talking about something about an organization, you write on an industrial code there. Write down Taman Jalan Perindustrian or something. Just come up with something. Just a one line address also. It's okay. Alright. If let's say it's a school, then just write down another address and then put SMK or something something something. So for informal letter, you have to write down your address. You don't have to write your name here, right? And then it comes with date. After that, you have to put your salutation, your greetings, meaning uh, if let's say you're writing to your friend, you write down your friend or dear cousin, and then you have opening. Opening here meaning introduction. Why are you writing this essay? Can you write points? No, you should not write any points in your introduction. This is not only for informal writing, for formal, for article, for speech, for any kind of essay. You should not introduce your points in your introduction. That is not right, right? You will not get any marks for it. Okay, then when it comes for the content, here since it's a sample, it's just like one body here. Content is actually the body. And you can see the line is going in, meaning you should start your points you should give some space, right? Always remember to leave some space before starting a new paragraph, and always write clearly, neatly, and break it. You don't have to compile everything in one page, as I told you last week, right? Take space, give a space, break into paragraph. Even if let's say your introduction is very short, only one or two lines, and then suddenly you have your second body, it's quite long, shouldn't be a problem. We are not doing some fancy competition to have everything standardized. It can be short, it can be long, and then again it can be long, and then it can be short. Understand? Do not panic, do not worry, it shouldn't be a problem. After that, you have your closing. Closing is also known as conclusion. And then you have your signing off, your signature, by who, and then you just write down your signature down there. This is a simple format for informal letter. Do you understand? Okay. Apart from the format, I would like to stress about using transitional signal. Transitional signal is like furthermore, moreover, besides. Apart from that, please start using all that, right? If let's say you start firstly, secondly, it doesn't sound very nice anymore. And if not mistaken, we have for PT3, we are not accepting any firstly, secondly, things like that. The sequence, it's just first, and then maybe the next paragraph you can start with next, and then decide. So please, you can Google, and maybe I can also post some list on your transitional signal. So you are clear about your informal format, right? I think this is the easiest lah. Now let's look at the question. Below are the sentences and parts in a letter. Arrange them in correct order in the format of an informal letter. So as I have given you the sample format, so now we're going to just rearrange them accordingly. So now you guys going to give me the answer. So what comes first? There's no address given here. There's no address given here, but the address should come first, all right, on your right hand side, and then follows by the day. So 21st, 21 May 2018, all right, it also will be on your right hand side. Okay, and then followed by Dear Ronnie, very good. Okay, then what will be the introduction? Yes, Dear Ronnie, it's here. Okay, then next? So we're done with the date, we're done with the Dear Ronnie. Next, how are you? Very good. Next, what is the purpose of you writing this informal letter? Yes, I'm writing this letter to invite you to come to my place in December. All right. Next, do you have any points to be add in your introduction? No. So that is only for your introduction. So next you move on to your body. Yes, we could visit the Kedah Padi Museum in Alor Alright. Next, how do you explain about the Kedah Padi Museum? Yes, this is the only paddy museum in the country, because when you're calling someone to you're inviting somebody, so definitely you are giving the explanation about that first. I think about the admission will comes later in, right? So this is the only paddy museum in the country, and then you explain more about it. So how do you explain about the museum? Yes, it is. It is a three-story museum which has unique architecture with respective paddy stalk motif. Paddy stalk ialah yang padi lah, yang the corak padi on the building roof. Alright, next. Yes, visitors could also learn about the taboos and the legend of padi planting. So this is a first body, right? So we move on to the next paragraph, the second body. Alright, so what is the second body about? It is open daily. Very good. So this is the second paragraph. Okay, next. Next is the admission fee. Yes, the admission fee is RM3 and RM2 for the children. So this will be in the paragraph 2, second line. And then there's also a note on saying there's an additional charge of RM2 for the use of camera. So you are giving the point about where to visit, what is the place about, what can you learn there. So that will be the first body. Next, about more info on how much you have to pay and what time does it open and all that, right? So that's all for the body 2. And then the final conclusion is please write when you are coming. All right, that's all. And then you have your friend and ending it with your signature. So I think you all are very well aware about informal letter. So I think if let's say you get informal letter, confirm A lah, semua lulus. Alright, need to write a full name under the signature. You don't have to write a full name if unless if you want to. I mean, unless if you're writing a formal letter, yes, your full name is required, but and also your position. Since it is informal letter, it's not needed. You can even write your nickname and all that. All right, you just write your friend and then just so class, I think that's all for today. I hope that you all have made use of it, whatever that I've shared with you today. And I hope that we'll be seeing you again next week. Thank you, everyone.